Were there people on New Zealand before the Europeans came? There were. The Maori people arrived a few hundred years earlier. It was around the 1400s or something, I think, is the rough estimate. It's hard to tell because they only built things out of wood, which rots. So, yeah, carbon dating and stuff has helped. I can't remember exactly what it's been nailed down to, but yeah. It was, yeah, settled a few hundred years prior. You can kind of tell in some places by the remnants of their slash and burn agriculture, which destroyed a lot of places, and a lot of species went extinct. Well, it's 133 miles, that is good enough. With the Maori people, they were very tribal, so it was different tribes in different areas. One tribe lived on the kind of top of the South Island, more specifically. But they were at war with each other a lot.
Get ready to turn right.
So yeah, then there was a definite amount of hatred between the North and South Island, or
Turn
parts of the North Island and each other and the South Island. Yeah, it's not nearly that bad anymore, thankfully.
Go straight.
Similar to the Australian natives? No. Completely different. The Australian natives are true natives in that they are endemic to the country. They had been living there for thousands, tens of thousands, I think, years in and around Australia. It was a very widely populated indigenous peoples. Whereas the Maori people came to New Zealand, say, only a few hundred years. They're from Polynesia. They spread to New Zealand only, yeah, a few hundred years before Europeans did. So yeah, not really analogous at all. The Aboriginal people in Australia were horrifically dealt with as well. There was not really much efforts to work with them at all, I don't think.
Turn left.
They were, yeah, quite brutally dealt with. It was settled slightly before New Zealand, and it was largely penal colonies. It was kind of a place of exile for a lot of people. So the people who were going to Australia from Europe were not the nicest bunch in the first place. So if any of them escaped or anything, then they would just take advantage of the natives.
Take the first exit.
And then there was just like official discrimination at a very ruthless level.
Turn left. Turn left.
It's kind of different stages of mistreatment of native populations. Yeah, that's a rest area up there. Is there also fuel? Because I need fuel.
Turn right.
I'm actually going to check the big map to know where I need to go. There is not fuel there. There is fuel there. I don't know if I can make it that far though. How far is it to here? 45 miles. How much fuel do I have?
Time to hit the road.
Do I have a display?
Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right.
It's the consumption. I want to know the time to, or the distance to empty. It doesn't really show up. Basically trying to look for something that ticks down.
Go straight.
There's nothing really. Okay, so I found a problem with this truck.
Keep right, and then turn right.
That I can't really see the distance to empty
Turn right.
properly. Oh, I was meant to turn right. God damn it. Looking at my display too much. Anyone behind me? Maybe not. They're going to get a rude awakening if they are. Country's natives are also mistreated. Yeah, it is just a European thing. It was largely a religious thing. Certainly didn't help anyway.
Keep left, and then
Because there was
left.
the attitude of we are God's people
Exit
and
left.
therefore we are all that matters, and they will try and proselytize, and if you won't be converted to our ways, then clearly you're not human and therefore won't be treated as such. Again, people are stupid.
Keep left.
Just a general attitude of better than thou, essentially, is what it came down to. Countries are stolen by the English. Stolen's a harsh word. Really? And because that's the odd thing, is that there was a lot of mistreatment, absolutely, but are the countries in a better position overall in terms of the context of the modern world? Almost certainly. You know, life expectancies, quality of life, all of that skyrocketed. So you can't really make that contrast between how people used to live and then how people now live and go that, oh, it's a terrible shame that the Europeans came to this place. It's just the method along the way was not great, to say the least. People were treated terribly, yes. Has the net outcome been positive? Overwhelmingly, yes. So... it's a funny old thing.
Keep right.
I mean, the weirdest part is just that how people went so far around, like, the opposite side of the world
Exit right.
in order to find different places to settle. If nothing else, it kind of goes to show how terrible conditions were for people living back in Europe at the time, that they were so keen, if not desperate, to go somewhere else.
Never mind. I'll find a new route.
You're immigrating to your country, still need to set... Ah, went on the wrong side again. How you won't dishonor the queen or king. I don't think there's any such thing here. There might be some, like, formal swearing in that mentions the monarch, but that's about it. But it's like tradition only, really. It's
Go
not.
straight, and
There's
then
no
keep
real
left.
anything about. There's no laws about dishonoring the king or anything like that. You can say what you like, do what you like. As far as I'm aware, there's no laws about bad-mouthing the royals. We barely have any association with them whatsoever. They barely even visit. I'm sure Charlie will do a round trip of the colonies at some point, but yeah, not something we really care about that much. It's useful to still have the Commonwealth Association and the head of state being formally somewhere else. It gives you a place to escalate, like an independent arbitration. There have occasionally been court cases in New Zealand that have then been referred on to the High Court in London, because that can actually overrule our Supreme Court. And it just means that there can be a completely objective look at a case where there might have been local bias. But that's extremely rare as well. Okay, we now have fuel. And we have rested. That's the downside to the new areas having such spread out places. Is you do have to travel some way sometimes to get fuel, have to go a bit out of your way. Thankfully here I wasn't too out of the way, I could just go to the truck stop off the side. But if I was going a different direction I might have been in trouble.
Recomputing.
Let's check off that marker. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in terms of people immigrating and becoming a naturalized citizen or something. Obviously, I never had to worry about that myself because I was born here. So I don't remember ever having to, like, we don't have a Pledge of Allegiance like America do or any such stupid thing. And we don't really have anything to pledge allegiance to. I mean, it would be the monarch, I guess, but yeah, there's no such thing. In terms of citizenship, it's more a case of you agree to abide by the laws of the land.
Keep
That's
right,
good enough.
and then turn right.
And by doing so, you'll do better than a lot of people who were born here
Turn
anyway, if you
right.
are an immigrant. Imperial New Zealand's the fact they have 5 million people and 25 million sheep. That number has dropped significantly, I believe, in the last while. It used to, yeah, be like 5 sheep to every person. I think that figure is a lot less now. But there is a lot of sheep, yeah. It's a very agricultural place, and certainly the Waikato region and Canterbury as well. A lot of ranches for sheep and cattle. Agriculture and tourism are the two biggest industries, I'm fairly sure. It's very arable land, basically,
turn left.
so it's very efficient for growing and farming.
Turn left.
But we still have huge swaths of natural forest which are not farmed. A lot of it is like not really usable land. It's all very folded. A movie was filmed there. Yeah, the Lord of the Rings films were filmed here. That was a big boost to tourism because basically because the locations were still like natural enough. The thing with New Zealand is it's, as I've often said, it's like a miniature, like one of those little Lilliput miniature villages of the rest of the world. We have most types of biome here, just in small scale. So, we have mountains, just not as big as elsewhere. We have the fjords, but aren't quite as big as Alaska or Norway. We have temperate forest, we have sort of semi-tropical rainforests, high altitude deserts. We don't really have sandy deserts, and we don't have very rocky deserts. So if you're wanting to film something like that's set in the Sahara, you'd be struggling. Or like sort of the Wild West or something. But most other sorts of types of biome, yeah, we've pretty much got it covered. Yeah, you're in Canada, yeah. Canada has a lot of diversity as well, but it's mostly cold. It doesn't really have the sort of the tropical areas. Also a huge amount of farming. And also a huge amount of not much at all. Like the largest biome area overall there would be tundra. Whereas here it's, yeah, temperate forest. Prairies are pretty warm. In summer they get warm. In winter they're still covered in snow pretty much, right? So there's not many parts of New Zealand that actually get snow right down to some kind of ground level. Or it's rare if it does. It's mostly the bottom to middle of the South Island. So that's one of those things that'll probably also be becoming more common.
Get ready to turn right.
When we start getting more snow in the Auckland region, then we know we've got a problem.
Turn right.
Well, we know we've got a problem anyway, but it'll be more evident, put it that way. Whereas I think we only had like 2 or 3 frosts last year.
Get ready to turn right. Turn right.
I have a scales here, but I'm almost there. How bizarre. I would have thought it would be when I was leaving. Your vehicle is not in a technical state required by law. You have to fix it. I'm also stuck because it's not letting me accelerate uphill. There we go. That was inconvenient. 10 provinces. Some people, nobody, literally everyone. French people, nobody. What is Prince Edward Island and Halifax? Yeah. It's, I would say BC is like as populated as Ontario. Vancouver's a big city. So I think it's a bit more than some people. It's like, some people, nobody, most people, French people, nobody, places that you forget exist. Also, Edmonton and Calgary have some people in them. Just more some people.
Here we are.
Some fewer people, perhaps. It's a case that was 95% of people live in the first 5% of latitude or something. Because then you got all the northern reaches where there is nobody. Well, there's speckled native areas. Do we have a good enough angle for this? Kind of. We'll make it work. Probably should have gone further forward and then reversed instead, but not quite the right angle. Interior is 30%. Well, that's not literally everyone then at all. If it's only 30%. BC, Edmonton, and Calgary must have a fair few. And Winnipeg? I don't know how big Winnipeg is. Good enough, apparently. Good. I mean, the thing has wheels. They can put it where they want it. Okay. 11 out of 15. We are making some progress. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back in a sec. 4 more jobs. Can we get 4 more jobs done within an hour? Is the question. Before I have to go to 97 miles, seriously. Austin. Did we do Austin? I'm trying to remember the route we took now. Yeah, we did. We went like Houston, Austin or something, didn't we? Yeah, so we've been Austin. Lufkin would be good, but 97 miles, seriously. Houston we've done. Oh, there we go. Lufkin, 129 miles. That's better. We can do that. Another gifts one. That's fine. We'll do it. Let's get going.
Ready to roll.
Okay, a little bit of ways to get down to the job. That's fine. So we want to try and knock out the next 4 within an hour if we can. Would be nice. But we are at the mercy of the contract system.
Get ready to
and
turn
the speed
right.
limit, sadly.
Turn right.
truck indeed. Welcome,
Get
Cooker.
ready to turn left.
Yuck, yuck, truck.
Turn left.
The Goofy Mobile. Face down, ass up, that's the way we like to truck.
Go straight.
Oh, there's a question mark down here. Wonder if that's a viewpoint. If so, we should probably go to it. Time may be of the essence, but, you know. Or we intentionally save it. Actually, looks like it might just be a recruitment center anyway.
Go straight.
Either way, you know what? It's better to go right here and round the block.
Rerouting.
Yeah, it's a recruitment center. Good. Means I can ignore it.
Go straight.
Didn't even discover it.
Keep left, and then turn left. Get ready to turn left.
It's my secret, Captain. I'm always ready to turn left.
Turn left. Turn right.
Ooh, tight one. There we go. Driving home from work, see an 18-wheeler zoom past 100 mile an hour.
Drop the load and go.
I just like to make people's days exciting, you know. Also, it's not 100 miles an hour. I'm limited to 65. So, it would be, if I could.
Let's do this.
Get to the warehouse in time when Jeff Bezos will rid you of your piss break. Yeah, pretty much. Thankfully, we're not working for Amazon. We're working for ourselves. That would be where you name your character Bezos, you name your company Amazon, you build it up so that you hire every driver that you can, and then you just fire a third of them because you feel like it. The difference there is you actually have to do the work of the driving to actually build up the company to the point that you can hire drivers. You can't just, like, buy it. Can't build off the back of someone else. And 2 minutes after you joined stream for some reason. That is bizarre. Because I thought you usually just got one when you join the stream. But I guess that doesn't make you immune to the ones that happen throughout.
Keep left, and then turn left.
It's if there's a certain number that play during, like, as mid-rolls, then you don't get these ones when you join. Maybe that's how it works. I can't remember. I've gone with just very automatic things when it comes to ads. Apparently there's a photo opportunity down there.
Turn left.
That's weird. Unfortunately, we're going left, so I can't really go that way at the moment. Bezos said you were talking shit. Yeah, exactly.
Get ready to
But you
turn
joined
left.
as well. I wonder if they've changed things again. Wouldn't surprise me.
Turn left, and then turn right.
Because, yeah, there's the mid-roll ones that you can set up. Okay, well, I guess we're not doing this delivery anymore because we happened to knock a fire hydrant. And it tipped my whole goddamn truck. The hell? No one follows rules in the game. One day you want to have some fun. Can't drive faster than 92 even with the limiter turned off. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, New Mexico, and you get 101. Okay, well, we didn't even really take much damage, but, well, we're not going to get 4 deliveries done if we keep doing that. It's just this tiny little green fire hydrant, which I've never even seen before on intersections or anything like that. I assumed it was going to be, at minimum, like the poles that you hit against that do a decent amount of damage, but you can still keep going. Oh, now we're going to get penalised by not having a similar delivery anymore. It's the bloody 97-mile ones again. Well, we can do the Beaumont one instead. A little bit further. Take a little bit longer, but... yeah, I will fix up that Streamlabs thing at some point when I have the leisure, but don't really have the ability to do so right now. Because I'll probably tinker with the settings a little bit.
Turn left.
Yeah, kind of annoyed with the fire hydrant. Like, the most it should have done is just do a bunch of damage, but I'm guessing it isn't an object that can actually be broken.
Get ready to
like,
turn
it doesn't
right.
actually, it's a solid object, so it wasn't going to budge, so therefore it just imparted everything onto my truck and
Turn
it
right.
flipped. Which is really, really annoying. But, you know,
Get ready to turn
cut
left.
corners, then, yeah, these things happen
Turn
sometimes.
left.
Mental note, only cut corners that don't have obstacles in them.
We're here. Right on time.
Yeah, what I was saying, I think, before I got rudely interrupted by crashing, was that there's the like automated ad stuff that you can set up. And I thought the idea was that if you had it set up like the default, there's a minimum amount that it will do within like an hour period. And so long as you hit those bits,
Okay.
then it doesn't do the pre-rolls, I thought. So it's kind of weird that are happening as well. Which makes me wonder that I've changed things again. And maybe I missed an email or just they didn't send one. I don't know. Ah, crying out loud. I mean, I don't mind having the ads turned on, because they are a mild inconvenience for people watching. I'm usually not saying anything that's particularly important, though. And it's a case of, you know, the infrastructure for streaming and stuff, that's... I'm
Get
using
ready to turn
someone's
right.
service and their servers and all that sort of stuff. So it's ludicrous to expect that it should be
Turn
completely
right.
free. I'm not paying to do this. Which means that it has to come from
Get
somewhere.
ready to turn left.
If I did have to pay to do this, I wouldn't be doing this. So,
Turn left.
because it's not like I make anything from it. It is a hobby.
Get ready to turn left.
Your last 2 times you caught it played one when you were responding to one of your comments. Yeah, it picks its times. Yeah, it's...
Turn left.
Please add no bully.
Keep right. And then turn right.
Yeah, I was just saying in terms of the Amazon thing, like you create a
Turn right.
company, call it Amazon, hire tons of drivers, and then just fire the half of them on a whim. If you're really role-playing.
Keep left. And then turn left. Turn left.
I should have gone down the other turning lane, but this is going to be a little bit of a shit show because I am quite tired, so I'm not paying as much attention as I should. I keep, like, drifting in and out of focus, so yeah. These things happen. Without Ed's help, he's supposed to be able to pay for his 10th supercar. I mean, on the one hand it is, yeah, it's funny to laugh at such things. He definitely takes the piss, and he's a moron. Not a very pleasant human being by all accounts. But at the same time, like I said, there are legitimate costs to running a platform like this.
Turn right.
In terms of the whole, like, Bezos taking his cut thing, that's much more relevant to the amount of sub costs that, like, how much of that goes to the platform as opposed to the creator.
Keep right.
In terms of ads, it's such a piddling amount anyway. It's, yeah. Same argument doesn't hugely apply. That said, it would be interesting to know how much of the amount of the ad revenue they get versus comes through to the creator, because it's a piddling amount as far as what I get from it, which, yeah, means that I don't really care about it in terms of an income stream for the streamer, because at the end of the day it is more about subsidizing the platform. I don't know if they did something about subscription revenue splits. I can't remember if it's all changed now, so it's like the 30/70 or something that it used to be for partners only or something. Maybe. I've not paid attention. Again, it's a hobby. It's a hobby that I'm lucky enough to have some chance to do every now and then. Not as much as I'd like, but certainly not something that I consider to be a revenue stream as such. What was I talking about? In terms of the tiered subs, like, it was always it seemed like a rip-off to me that you've got the tier 2 and the tier 3, but it wasn't like, Twitch took a 50% cut or like a proportional cut of those as well. It wasn't as, like, to me it was a case of if a tier 3 sub costs $20, a tier 1 sub costs $5, they take the $2.50 from a tier 1, they should also only take a $2.50 from a tier 2 or 3, because it doesn't cost Twitch anymore to provide a higher tier of subscription. That should always be about just supporting the creator. So that always pissed me off. When making for Amazon, you're streaming on Twitch. Yeah, well, there is that, but again, it's not really working for, and so it's certainly not the same as the delivery company. Remember, there are different entities within the umbrella company. But also it's a case of, I can practically guarantee that the amount of resources I consume by streaming, given that my audience is so low generally, and the amount of content I actually produce, I can guarantee that they are not making money off me. I can just completely guarantee that they are not making money off me. I am probably one of the reasons why it ends up that they keep having to make more and more ad changes and stuff to try and make more money off people, because there's people like streamers like myself that tie up all of the resources and have a very low viewership and therefore don't make money for the platform. It's almost like a loss leader in some ways, but then you get the massive streamers who obviously A, rake it in themselves, and B, rake it in for Amazon. If you gift sub more subs than viewers on a stream, does it give random people the sub? Yes. Yeah, there's some sort of complicated algorithm for it. So it's people who follow will get priority, I believe, first. So it's like people who are currently watching, currently in the stream, get top priority, I'm fairly certain. And then it'll be people who have followed but aren't currently watching. Biased, I think, towards people who have
Never mind.
not previously been subscribers, because the whole point is you're trying to expand. And then it'll be those who were also previously subscribers to try and get them to come back and maybe continue it on as an actual subscription instead of a gift. And then it'll be people who have watched things that are similar, or maybe like follow someone that streamer follows or something like that. It attempts to make a connection before it just goes completely random. I don't know, drop 50 gift subs and we'll find out. Because it's definitely happened before that they have been blessed with generosity before, and there was like 10 gift subs or something. Obviously there weren't that many people watching, and it followed through to like I recognized a few of the people that it got gifted to as people who had been in stream before. Like I think it prioritizes based on prior activity, so not just followers, but if they had actually chatted in stream before and stuff like that. I think it kind of goes for those people first. Let me get Mummy's credit card. Don't do that. At the same time, go for it. But don't do that. I mean, in terms of like gift subs is also an odd thing. Like, obviously the whole point is to try and grow a community, so, people get a gift and therefore, oh, hey, I'll check it out. And hey, maybe they become a subscriber as well, or at the very least, they'll maybe come back to the community and stuff like that. But given that the fact that the main benefit of subscribing, other than just showing your support to a channel, it's, you get the emotes and stuff like that. If you're not normally watching that stream, you're not really going to benefit from those. I mean, my emotes are great, so they're great to use in other streams as well, don't get me wrong. But it's a case of gift subs as a phenomenon, and where people will drop gift bombs as a show of support to a streamer. Doing a donation is better, because the proportion of the gift sub, or each individual sub gets proportionally an amount that goes to Twitch. Whereas if you do a donation, all of your money is going to the streamer. So it's like, as a show of support to the streamer, a donation is always better. But as a show of support and a kind of community shout out, gift subs are a great idea.
Keep right, and then turn right. Go straight.
If you buy something off your mother's credit card, you can be arrested of robbery. Yes. It's not yours, but you're a part of the family. Doesn't matter. If you are a minor, A, you probably shouldn't be here. B, like, crimes committed by a minor are generally the responsibility of the parent anyway, so it's kind of a null and void sort of thing. But if you were, like, if you're over 18, and you were to use your parents' or anyone else's credit cards without their consent, that is theft. It would probably not be something that they would follow up with through the police, because it would be dealt with as a personal matter. But theoretically it could. Like, your parents could basically call the police on you. Streamers don't get all of the donations, Mr. Government takes portion. Okay, yeah, I'm meaning, like, in terms of the amount of raw, because the government takes a portion of the bit that you get after Twitch takes their cut too, right? Remember that. Like, the amount that goes to the streamer is always income, and therefore income will always be taxed. But the point is that if you gift 10 subs, $50 worth, then 25 or maybe less now, I can't remember, half of that, or a proportion of that, goes to Twitch, and only the balance of that goes to the streamer. If you do a $50 donation, all of that goes to the streamer. Either way, the proportion of it will then get taxed as income. But it's a case of you are putting more into the amount that the streamer is getting to then be regarded as income. But also that's a completely separate thing. Like, over here, extra income under a certain amount does not need to be declared
Keep
for
left,
tax.
and then exit left.
Like, it's a negligible earning.
Exit left.
Also, I'm fairly sure that in the case of Twitch income, the tax is already dealt with by them when it comes to the payouts and stuff. There's like the withholding tax that's paid, because they try and make it as easy as possible. It becomes complicated when you're like a foreign national working in that framework, but I had to fill out forms that are related to the tax agreement between the US and New Zealand. Whereas any donation would be
Keep
like,
left.
that would go into PayPal or whatever, and then that would go into my accounts, and then I would have to disclose that individually. But unless it was a significant amount, then I don't believe the IRD would even know about it, let alone care about it. I mean, after you've done the 50 gift subs, then feel free to slap a
right,
donation down of
then
$1,000
exit
bucks,
right.
and we'll see what happens.
Exit right.
Or you can just not pay taxes to imagine watching this. This is a joke. I pay my taxes. This is a joke. Yeah, exactly.
Keep right, and then turn right.
I mean, there's
Turn
ways
right.
that you can obfuscate things, of course. Yeah, completely legitimate ways. Like if I was to register myself as a company or something, that I'd deduct expenses, and then the amount that I get as income would definitely not tally up against the expenses, so then I would not have any net income to pay tax on. I would be operating at a loss. Because, you know, 90%, 95% of the cost related to me streaming is borne by me as personal contribution, so yeah. But the company tax rate is less than the individual tax rate, and you're then treated as a completely separate legal entity and everything, so there are advantages to doing that. I don't know exactly how it works over in the States, but any successful streamer should really have their own company that they operate under. The Canadian government's at my door, yeah. Knock, knock, knock. Open up, this is the IRS. Or whatever you call it over there. It's IRD for us.
This is where it ends.
This is where it ends. Well, that was timed perfectly with the bass drop too. DJ Garol hitting it. I do like it when it's just a straight drive in and park the trailer. There we go. I love that emote. 12 from 15. We're getting there.